Hey, can we have a bit of a chat, please? Do you remember everything that happened during the deadly virus? I can, and I can't switch it off. I remember the press conferences, I remember the headlines, I remember trust the science, and that turned out to be, well, whatever that was. Remember the lockdowns and the curfews? Remember the heavy-handed tactics that the police employed to force people to just obey? Remember the condescending lectures our elected officials would deliver to us, all high and mighty up on their pulpits? Do you remember they were exempt from the vaccine? Did you think that was suspicious? I thought that was hugely suspicious. A big red flag. Do you remember hearing about the deaths directly attributed to the vaccine? The myocarditis, the blood clots, the chronic fatigue. I keep replaying it all in my head, and I keep waiting for people to get as angry as I still am. And I swear, I'm not trying to start a fight. Well, not with you anyway. You're the victim. I just need to understand how you are all not furious. And how is almost everyone just back to normal? Because don't you remember and recognise that they lied to us repeatedly? They lied to us about the masks, about the transmission of the virus. They lied to us about the shots. They lied about the people who were asking questions. They lied about so many things. They ruined livelihoods. They shut kids out of schools. They turned neighbours, friends and families into self-righteous lynch mobs. And then they all just moved on. Like it was a bad summer bushfire season or something. How do you do that? I got some clips here to confirm what I've just said, and also to set the tone and for us to remember and feel what it was like going through that back then. Because we must never forget, and we must never let them treat us the same way ever again.
Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
If everyone follows these rules, and they are as simple as they can be, then we will get through this together and we will get to the other side of it quicker.
Melbourne is city to have endured the world's longest lockdown.
Oh, how's that? The world's longest lockdowns in Australia.
Okay, they're shooting. They're now shooting.
It's painful.
And look at those pricks. They look like they're at war. But what it is, it's Australians against Australians.
But it is absolutely appropriate.
Yeah, we're just at the intersection of Victoria and Lygon Streets, where an enormous amount of police are now gathering.
It's the most
Like, was that necessary?
important commitment for Victoria Police, forcing the Chief Health Officer guidelines.
And that?
Totally flatten that curve.
And that?
Well, Victoria Police will take whatever steps they need to take.
Yeah, they'll step right over your head and mash it into the bitumen. To save you from the virus.
Protests don't work. Protests are not smart. They're not lawful.
Have an ultrasound in an hour.
In relation to the Facebook post. And this. She's arrested for a Facebook post. Remember that? When you remove free speech from a democratic society and you punish people for speaking out loud with an opposing opinion, what happens then is the government uses those laws to lock up people who challenge them. And then one party has all the power, then they start picking off their opposition. And then all of a sudden, we're living in a tyrannical dictatorship.
You know what?
It's illegal. All of it can be avoided if people don't protest.
Don't protest in a free and democratic society. That prick right there saying that as a democratically elected leader, he should be thrown out of the country and never allowed back in.
what they've done to it. She was a hero last year, and now look at this. Get off of me! He's fucking choking me! He's choking me!
For what? For a mask? For not having a mask?
And you know what these pricks think, right? They think because they are in the police force, they are protected and their family's protected. But they're not. To any police that are watching this video, you're not protected. You're not part of the club. You're a tool, a disposable, expendable tool for which there are plenty of replacements. That's what they say, and that's what they think. So don't think you're protected. And what happens when you retire and you leave the police force? Any perceived perception that you may have had, it's gone too.
She doesn't have a mask. Are you serious? Are you serious just for not having a mask?
Oh, thank you, brave and honourable police officer, for protecting me from the deadly virus by smashing my head into the ground. Thank you so much.
Media is being prevented from showing aerial pictures of the Melbourne protests and riots.
Media!
And then when you have police attacking media, that's such a big deal. The media's captured on the most part anyway, but whatever.
Media accreditation, for what purpose? You don't even respect our working environment.
The only reason that protests are illegal is because Daniel Andrews made it so.
I don't know what half of them are protesting against.
He doesn't know what they're protesting against.
But I'm all for medical freedom, and I'm scared for my kids.
Look at this prick.
Then, well, good on them. Except it's illegal.
Except it wasn't.
Who have planned this? It's all planned. Now, why they planned this, I don't know. And I don't even think I want to know.
This system is being put in place using lies, and it's being put in place using lies for some purpose, and I believe that purpose is complete totalitarian control. And I think the purpose of that is going to be mass depopulation.
One of our problems here is the assumption that this is like every other vaccine we've ever seen, and it's not.
It's the greatest experiment that has ever been performed in the history of medicine, and it's being performed on human beings. It's just an incredible thought.
And don't forget, these are qualified medical professionals who are qualified to comment. They're not anti-vaxxers or conspiracy theorists.
So all of this started to come together, and we started to get kind of a sick feeling in our stomachs that, wait a minute, this is science gone bad here. None of this is supposed to be happening. The CDC has never otherwise explained these stats, and they are so tightly related to the vaccine.
50% of healthcare providers are absolutely not getting this injection. We don't trust the data. The fox guarded the henhouse. The companies did their own data. There were no independent observer groups.
You should disregard all announcements about case rates in your community, because they're completely fraudulent.
The very inventor of the PCR test, Nobel Prize winner Kary Mullis, said this test in itself is not a diagnosis.
Did you hear that? The inventor of the PCR test.
And with PCR, if you do it well, you can find almost anything in anybody.
But they said we're being pressured in-house to add COVID to the diagnostic list, when we think it has nothing to do with the actual cause of death.
As a physician, I received an email last week from the Department of Health coaching me on how to fill out death certificates.
It's another level now of criminality.
There's a lot of other doctors who feel the same way. Well, they're too frightened to speak up. And as soon as that happens, a notification, and you're in the front of the medical board.
That's another thing to be afraid of. When you've got doctors who are afraid to speak up, the government has overstepped its mark.
Dr. Robert Malone is a vaccine expert. He is the inventor of mRNA technology. He's undergone systematic attack. His history is literally being erased online. These fact-checking groups, for example, factcheck.org, they're funded by an organization that holds over $1.8 billion of stock in a vaccine company.
Once I was censored, I feel like I've kind of gone into this other world. And now I'm surrounded by people that it's kind of normal to have their work talked about in a strange way.
Sent me there to cover the COVID treatments at that hospital. I just wasn't supposed to ask that question. The viewers are being deceived by a carefully crafted narrative.
So who's doing the deceiving? That's a big question, and we'll get to that.
They are trying to push a narrative that is not based on the decades of immunology.
Nobody's in the hospital. How is that possible in a medical pandemic?
That's fake news, that's why.
People have turned to Facebook to share their stories and experiences, with one group reaching almost 65,000 members. It was removed overnight for no apparent reason.
The victims of this vaccine, they're not being able to tell their story.
The censoring has been going on for well over a year. It's well documented. It's unequivocal.
TikTok is taking down all of my sounds so that you guys can't hear my story.
The Great Barrington Declaration, authored and signed by 3 of the world's leading experts in epidemiology, infectious diseases, and vaccines.
We've got to the point where scientists such as yourselves need to kind of gather for secret meetings in houses to come out with declarations of dissent.
Are you of the same opinion?
I don't think I can answer that question.
Why not?
Anyone who speaks out against this line of policy is shut down. I basically have to be in line with the government line.
Do you want your physicians and scientists, their voices suppressed? We're polarized right now. We're polarized.
And threaten investigation and discipline for any physicians who express any of the negative aspects of any of these interventions, no matter what the evidence says.
And that's not science. If evidence is being omitted, you can't trust the science, can you?
You're not the first doctor I've heard from who maybe got unusual visits from the state or, basically got a lot of pushback.
You have to realize the number of doctors and scientists who are saying no to all this outnumbers those who are saying yes.
And if this is the mountain, if this is the hill where I get nailed on, I will get nailed on it. I don't care. You can report me to the boards, you can kill me, you can do whatever, but I'm not going to let Americans die.
That woman, right there. What a legend. Right on, sister.
75 years ago, Hermann Goering testified at the Nuremberg trials, and he was asked, how did you make the German people go along with all this? And he said, it's an easy thing. The only thing a government needs to make people into slaves is fear. You can do this in a Nazi regime. You can do it in a socialist regime. You can do it in a communist regime. You can do it in a monarchy and a democracy.
And that's an important point. So fear is what tyrants and governments use to control and oppress. Now, we can counter that by getting to know our enemy and understanding as much as we can about them. That way, it removes the fear of the unknown. And that way, we can plan our attack. Because there's a fight coming. And it's going to be a defining one.
We, the Germans, are asking this question, how it happens in the 1930s. And a lot of people are now getting a sense how it happened.
We're held hostage to more and more mutations that can be used to manipulate us over and over again and take away our freedoms.
We've used these tactics in other countries to manipulate, divide and conquer, and now we're watching our own government and our own military use them against us. Men of our unit and our service believe that we're pointing our weapons in the wrong direction. This time now the tyranny is against us and our people, and we can't see it because it's on our home soil where it's never been before.
The problem's not coming from other groups or religions or people in other countries, right? It's not about black or white, or left or right, or Christians against Muslims, or against the Jews. It's all bullshit and propaganda. Because I want you to think about the people you know, the people in your circles, right? And how many of those are shit, horrible, disgusting, poor excuses for human beings. There's not many, is there? And you can apply that all around the world. Most of us are good, hardworking, loving people, and we don't want to fight and kill people that we've never met over the other side of the world. And this is what they're leading us up to, and this is what they've been doing for thousands of years. So, and I want to make another point. It's not the Jews. It's not all the Jews. It's some of the Jews. Same with the Muslims. It's not all the Muslims. Some of the Muslims. Same with the Christians. It's not all the Christians. It's some of the Christians. So don't be fooled and drawn into that lie. Because go back to remember, the majority of people are good people.
We need to start looking at ourselves as officers and thinking, is what I'm doing right? You don't get to just say, I'm following orders. And if that costs you your job, so be it. At least you'll be able to look at yourself in the mirror at night.
What a legend. What an absolute bloody legend. And I want to appeal to all police officers and people in the defence forces as well. And if you're being called upon again to carry out these thuggish orders, which you know in your heart are unlawful and just plain flat out wrong, please, I'm begging you, think with your logical head and think with your compassionate heart and do the right thing and do what you signed up to do in the first place. And I would expect all police officers wanted to join the police force initially to give back to the community, to protect the community, to help the community. And that's where your responsibilities lie, is with the community. Your responsibility is not to carry out the orders of the government. And another thing, right? When you do the right thing, you will gain the love and the respect from the people. We will support you and we will protect you. And you will be the hero that you deserve to be. And you will receive so much love. So please, the next time it comes around, do the right thing.
They start enforcing the communist state through the vaccine passport. Please, Australia, do not move to any goalpost. The second you do, they start to build the fascist state.
In Australia, people have had it too good for too long, and they see these communist countries and they think there's no way that could happen here.
We are the most locked down country in the world.
There's over 50,000 people in
Massive protests. You know, the media said it was only 3,500 people.
Another example of media lies. They lied about the numbers at the protests. I know a couple of people who went to these and they told me there's definitely more than 3,500 people there. So at this point, how can we believe anything that comes out of mainstream media? The media of the future is people like me and you. And we will report the truth. We don't owe any corporations and anything, and we're not bought and paid off. We're not whores.
What we saw today were 3,500 very selfish bullheads.
The mainstream media is never, ever, ever going to be on our side because they are owned and controlled by the very people we're fighting against.
They've identified that area as being a really strong area. Strong men, strong morals, strong customs.
You are the toughest. You have the strongest family, community connections, religious connections. You guys are unbreakable, and they know that if they target and break you first, it makes it easier for them to break the rest of us.
Stand the fuck up. Don't be the reason why our future generations look back and think, where the heck were they?
I love that. Good on you. She's got that fighting spirit. Now that's an Aussie. Fighting Aussie. And she's obviously Muslim by the headdress. Doesn't matter. She's an Aussie and she's a fighter and I love it.
This is the time. There is not going to be another time unless we shake this down.
So I'm really sorry and I don't want to scare yous, but those of you who got vaccinated and didn't suffer any discernible side effects or complications right up until now, unfortunately, you can't be confident about your health moving into the future. What was injected into you, may show up further down the track at some point. And we're not going to say that everyone is going to have problems, but a lot of yous are.
2023, and there was 325 of these autopsies, and we listed the primary cause of the death. So that's what killed these people that died from the vaccine. And so obviously we know that this vaccine batters the cardiovascular system. That's why we see sudden cardiac arrest, myocarditis as these top causes. But we also know that it does harm the hematological system, interferes with blood clotting, causes these massive clots. That's why we see these clotting syndromes as the primary cause of death. And we see this multi-system inflammatory syndrome because this mRNA goes into all your vital organ systems, and these systems produce this toxic spike protein, resulting in this body-wide inflammation and multi-organ failure.
Now, I know I didn't provide proof in this video about what I'm going to say next, but we all know it to be true, and you search it out, you can find it for yourselves. COVID was manufactured in a lab. And what I believe happened, right, this is my suspicion, is that it didn't work the way it was supposed to work. Remember, 2 out of every 5 people were going to die. That didn't happen. I think they messed up. I think it was supposed to happen, but it didn't happen. And then the vaccine was injected into everyone else to deal with the stragglers. Because actually, I'll leave it for another day. I'll just leave that there. And this was a pretty heavy episode, and I don't want to scare you or make you feel like your life is ruined and your life is over. Not so. Just because you got the vaccine doesn't mean it's going to contribute to an early death for you. Okay? All right, let's leave that there. Thanks for listening. I love you all, and peace.
Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.